perception is largely based on past experience. What happened to you isn't necessarily what will always happen to you. But certain things that happen to us in our life, they mark us. They cause us to think that is what's always going to happen. That's how people are always going. If you grew up in a house where you were beat down all the time, then you expect people to abuse you. If you grew up in a house where, your mother and your father lavished love on you, you expect everybody to lavish love on you because that's your experience. That is your perception of how things are, how things should be. Now, here's the thing. Your perception is your reality, even if it's not a true reality. Have you ever heard that said? Your perception is your reality. You could be so far off from the truth, it's ridiculous. But the way you perceive things, that is very real to you. Sometimes certain people, there was this lady that I went to church with a long time ago, and everybody always thought she was mad. Her name was Melanie. And she was the administrator of the church, and she was carrying the weight of the world, trying to organize this and get this done and get that done. And everybody's pulling on her, trying to get her to stop. She's racing toward the back, trying to get, and she always had a furrowed brow. Well, the reality is that's just what her forehead looked like. So she looked mad. Even when she wasn't mad, but she just had a lot of wrinkles in her. So she appeared to be mad. So everybody was afraid of her because they thought, well, she's mad at me. She wasn't mad at anybody. That's just the way that her face looked. She couldn't help it. And so, but to everybody else, their perception was she's angry. She's mad. She's not friendly. She's always in a rush. She doesn't want to talk to me. You see that? So perception is our reality. There's a composer named Irving Berlin. Maybe some of you heard of him. He was a composer, an American composer. He said this: life is 10% what you make it and 90% how you take it. So your perception is everything. It's everything. Proverbs 12, verse 15. Proverbs 12, verse 15. The way of a fool is right in his own eyes. In other words, he perceives this is the right thing. This is the right way. This is the right job. This is the right project. The way of a fool is right in his own eyes, but he who heeds counsel is wise. So foolishness skews your perception of what is true. Proverbs 14, verse 12. Proverbs 14, I'm illustrating how perception is skewed and it affects your whole life. Proverbs 14:12. There is a way that seems right to a man, but its end is the way to death. Have you ever had friends who you tried to tell them, don't marry that man, don't marry that girl? Oh no, but you don't know them like I do. That's because their perception is skewed by love. Love will do funny ththings to you. Love will cause you to overlook a multitude of sins, and that's a good thing unless you're getting beat down, unless you're getting cheated on. And it's good to overlook something, right? But see, many people will warn you, don't take that job, don't move to that city. But their perception, they've already made up their mind. They made up their mind in the way they should go. They're not asking the Lord what to do. They think they're right, and they end up in a lot of trouble. Don't buy that car. Don't buy that house. There was a lady who I went to church with many years ago, and I was at a church where everybody was flipping houses. The apostle of the church was talking us all into flipping houses. Well, this lady had adopted several kids, and she started trying to flip these houses. She ended up losing everything she had, going bankrupt, and just losing the kids. And she got pulled over because she couldn't even afford to pay her car tag and it got put in jail. And so why? Because her perception was flawed because she was listening to the wrong voice. When you have a spirit of rejection or a rejection mindset, your perception is flawed because you're listening to the wrong voice. Remember last week how we talked about the voice of rejection? The voice of rejection will hinder not only the way you hear things, but the voice of rejection will also hinder the way that you see things. It skews your perception.